welcome to highlights of the 1991 Monaco Grand Prix, brought to you by Microprose and GP2Joey. Round 4 of the season sees Formula 1 head to the Millionaire's playground of Monte Carlo and its famous street circuit, arguably the sport's most famous track, and this year's race promises to be a classic. There's been 3 different winners in as many races so far this year. As we venture into our second race in Europe, Championship leader Nigel Mansell now holds a point lead over Alain Prost, following his win last time out in San Marino, whilst defending world champion Ayrton Senna stays third, his 10-point solely coming from his home win in Brazil, and it's Williams who lead the Constructors' Championship. The pre-race news was all about the Scuderia, as it was confirmed Luca Di Montezemolo had been appointed as their new president, a move that gave Senna hope for some positive changes, which all meant the pressure was certainly on team boss Cesare Fiorio to turn the team's season around, and elsewhere it was confirmed Derek Warwick's younger brother Paul would be testing for the Benetton team. As ever, Friday morning's 30-minute pre-qualifying session was sensational, and under clear skies there were certainly some drivers who shone from the rest. For Fonmatal and BMS Dallara it was a nightmare, as both teams failed to set competitive lap times and were out, whilst Bertrand Gachot impressed for Jordan, who were joined by Brabham and Colonian, making it further into the race weekend, and the other teams were forced to pack up their transporters and head home early. Friday afternoon's first qualifying session was manic as ever, with drivers fighting to find enough space on the tight track to set a decent lap time. Down at Ferrari, hopes were high that Senna would be his masterful self and be in the thick of the battle at the front, but whilst the Brazilian was on the pace, he was unable to match the in-form Mansell, who ended the first 8 fastest by nearly 0.2 of a second for Williams Renault. The Briton looked set to carry his speed into Saturday, but ultimately it was the McLaren Honda of Prost who stole the show. The Frenchman nicking the pole with 20 minutes of the session to go, with quite a sublime lap, as teammate Joey Davis recovered well after a poor Friday to claim 5th behind Senna in 3rd and Jean Alesi in 4th in the second Williams. Afterwards, a content Prost said strategy would be the ultimate factor in the outcome of Sunday's race, whilst Mansell was gutted to have missed out on the pole, and Senna vented yet more frustration towards his Ferrari management. But elsewhere there was sheer delight in the Coloni garage as the team secured their first Grand Prix start in many races, courtesy of Michele Alboreto and Pedro Chaves. So it's Prost on pole with Mansell in 2nd, Senna is 3rd, it's Alesi in 4th, Davis is 5th with Andretti 6th, Warwick is 7th with Brundle in 8th place. 9th is Herbert, 10th is Piquet, 11th is Berger, 12th is Patrese, and 13th is Nakajima, 14th is Boutsen, 15th is Comas, and 16th is Modena, 17th and 18th is the 2 Lotuses of Donnelly and Hakkinen, row 10 is Capelli and Gugelmin, row 11 is Bernard and Alboreto, row 12 is Chavez and Gachot, and at the back it's Suzuki and De Cesaris. The start is going to be absolutely critical as the red lights come on and the 1991 Monaco Grand Prix is go! It's a good start from Prost. He's away from pole position with Mansell alongside him as Senna looks to have Andretti attacking on the inside, but he can't get through. And that's Davis around the outside of Andretti through Sandoval. And as they run up the hill towards the Massenet, it's Prost ahead of Mansell with Senna and Davis side by side. Davis has got the inside line and he's going to keep it. Davis is up into 3rd place as they come through Casino Square for the first time. The McLaren, number 28, is up from 5th place on the grid into 3rd as Senna drops to 4th. Andretti is 5th with Alesi 6th. Herbert looks to be making a move on Nelson Piquet's Benetton as the 2 Joeys try to go through side by side with Stefano Modena in 16th. Donnelly is 18th, he's dropped a place to his teammate with Bernard in 20th. Alboreto is 22nd in the Coloni, but back up front, Prost is pulling away from Mansell. He's nearly a second in the lead with Davis in 3rd. He's 1.9 seconds behind the Frenchman who comes through the harbour front chicane, heading towards Tabac. It's Prost ahead of Mansell with Davis in 3rd. Senna still 4th with Andretti 5th. It's a fantastic start from Prost.
Tremendous start from Alain Prost, who really made a strong getaway from the line as they come through towards the Rascasse for the first time. Prost looking to build the gap as much as he possibly can, as we see Davis get very sideways out of the Rascasse. He struggled for his balance and he rides the curb there onto the front straightaway. He struggled to get a good balance on Friday, managed to get a good recovery drive in on Saturday as Senna looks to be coming under attack from Andretti.
And Andretti, I think Andretti's just snuck it up the inside of Senna, he has. So Andretti got a great run out of the final turn. He snuck underneath Senna, who will not be very happy having dropped back down to 5th place with Jean Alesi in the second Williams, already 4.4 seconds off the front. In 6th place with Martin Brundle in 7th, it's Derek Warwick in 8th with Herbert in 9th, and Nelson Piquet rounds out the top 10 as Andretti looks to be pushing Davis, who runs wide of the Lowe's hairpin. Davis, I think he might have just brushed the barrier there, and Andretti's now up into 3rd position. A terrific start from the American, but Davis is all over the Ferrari gearbox as they come through the tunnel for the second time. Is Andretti going to try and block into the harbour front? He tries, but Davis keeps his foot in and he's through under braking, and Davis recaptures 3rd place. Tremendous racing. They say it's enormously difficult to pass here at Monte Carlo, but Joey Davis has already made quite a few passes that more drivers managed to do in an entire race, and we're only on lap 5 as Alboreto and the 2 Jordans of Andrea De Cesaris and Bertrand Gachot look like they're in their own little battle at the back. But we want to see what's happening up front, because Nigel Mansell's closing on Prost as Davis comes through the harbour front chicane. He's gone too fast and he's hit the barrier again, and Andretti's going to try and make a move on the inside into Tabaki's ahead, but Davis won't let him have it, and he just cuts across the American, and Joey Davis through the swimming pool section manages to fight back and keeps his 3rd place.
And there's Johnny Herbert's footwork. He's expired. That looks like a water leak or perhaps an engine failure in the footwork, but that's terrible misfortune for Johnny Herbert, who retires yet again from another Grand Prix, as we focus now on Michael Andretti up the hill towards the Massenet, trying to extend the gap of 4 seconds over his teammate Ayrton Senna.
And Senna's going through the Massenet through Casino Square, and Senna's got a problem and he's retired. My goodness, Ayrton Senna's, he looks like he's got a left front suspension failure as his teammate Andretti comes into the pits for the first of his planned stops. But Senna is out for the 3rd time in 4 races. His title defence is absolutely coming apart at the seams as Davis looks to try and make a move on Gachot, and he clouts into the Jordan, and Gachot's now going to lose position to his teammate Andrea De Cesaris as they come through the portier. And I'm not sure if Gachot's got damage on his car, but Prost comes through the Lowe's hairpin with Nigel Mansell 1.5 seconds behind, but Davis is catching the pair of them. Joey Davis is catching both Prost and Mansell hand over fist, with Alesi a very distant 4th, and that's the other footwork of Martin Brundle expired. My goodness, he's heading towards Sandivot and Brundle pulls over, and he is out of the race from 8th position. Davis rounds the Rascasse, and he's still pushing as Nigel Mansell comes into the pits, with Prost coming up to lap one of the Leighton houses. As he comes up the hill now, he's got the 2 Lotuses of Hakkinen, Donnelly, and that looks like Ivan Capelli. With Mansell, it's a good stop we're hearing in the Williams team, with Davis 6.4 seconds, and it's behind the Frenchman, and it's going to be absolutely critical that Prost tries to negotiate his way past these 3 back markers as quickly as he possibly can. Capelli gets out of the way, Prost is through, and Joey Davis is into the pits. He's up to the marks in the McLaren as Alesi is out. A little wipe of the visor from the chief mechanic. It's going to be a decent stop, and we were understanding that Joey Davis was thinking of maybe stopping once only in this race, but we hear that he's absolutely worn his tyres out completely, and he may very well be making 3 stops today, which is going to throw his strategy completely out of the window, and he's going to rejoin alongside Derek Warwick, who gets balked, and Davis just viciously cuts across Derek Warwick and says, absolutely not, you're not coming through me, mate. And he's through into the Massenet yet again. Davis in 4th position with Warwick in 5th. It's Piquet in 6th in the other Benetton, with Berger in 7th, Patrese 8th, Nakajima 9th. And there's Jean Alesi. We thought he was out earlier, but he is now for definite, because he's got smoke billowing out of the back of the Renault, and he is out of the race as we ride on board with Michael Andretti. And he's got Joey Davis now all over the back of him as they come through the portier into the tunnel. Andretti manages to get past one of the LaRousses, and Joey Davis gets through as well, and he's going to be pushing as his French teammate in the McLaren, Alain Prost, comes into the pits for his first stop of the afternoon. as Andretti leads Davis into the tobacco. It's Prost in the pits with Mansell probably going to inherit the lead. Andretti and Davis embroiled in their battle for third position with Derek Warwick in 5th place.
Fantastic racing here today as Davis locks a wheel into the Rascasse. Michele Alboreto is out in the Coloni, and Davis just loses time out of the Rascasse through the final turn with Michael Andretti once again in fantastic form. He's certainly going to be looking to try and get on the podium at least if he can and get his first score of decent points for Ferrari this year after a dismal start to the campaign for the Italian outfit.
And it's going to be interesting to see if Davis can close the gap, because Mansell is 5.6 seconds ahead of Alain Prost, and Andretti and Davis are 12.8 seconds behind Mansell, with Warwick still trying to push along in the Benetton. But Andretti is just driving a beautiful line. He's keeping Davis behind him as they come down towards the Lowe's hairpin. Davis locks another wheel as he's desperately trying to close the gap up to the American in the glorious Ferrari 642. And Davis is going to be trying to close the gap now as they come out of the tunnel. And Davis, he pulls up alongside, but he can't get through there. And Andretti just takes a defensive line. Is Davis going to try a repeat of what the pass that he did earlier? He's through. Davis, fantastic. I think he might have sold Michael Andretti a dummy and threw into the tobacco. Davis goes through, and there's Gerhard Berger pulling out with a right rear suspension failure. Fantastic development.
Unfortunate for Gerhard Berger as we ride on board with Ivan Capelli, who seems to be passing one of the stricken Jordans. I think that might have been Bertrand Gachot. As Nigel Mansell comes through the Mirabeau with Alain Prost closing him, and there's Nelson Piquet pulling over. My goodness, they're falling like flies today as Nelson Piquet comes through the swimming pool. Thankfully, one of the Leighton houses avoids him, but this is Joey Davis. This is Alain Prost with Joey Davis closing the gap through the swimming pool section.
And Davis is absolutely on it at the moment. Is he going to try and slip it up the inside to the Rascasse? He does. He locks up. Prost takes evasive action, but Joey Davis, he is up into 2nd position, and he's pushing Nigel Mansell for all he possibly can. He's 7/10 of a second behind as they come across the line into Saint-Devant for the 45th time, and up the hill they come. It's Nigel Mansell as the Leighton House and the Lotus are up ahead, with Davis swarming about all over the back of the Williams, and Davis and Mansell embroidered in the lead, and Davis goes for the inside and he loses it. Ouch! He hits Mansell. Mansell's into the barrier. Davis has come to a stop, and Davis has hit Mansell, and Mansell is out. Fantastic development. Nigel Mansell, he's been taken out by Joey Davis, who's managed to keep going, but he must have damaged his McLaren. I'm not sure what happened there.
It's interesting to watch now. Davis carries far more speed into Saint-Devant than Nigel Mansell does. Mansell taking the conventional racing line, trying to block Davis's view as much as he possibly can. Davis goes to the inside. He's hit the bump. Now there's a huge bump on the inside on the approach to the Macedé, and I'm pretty sure that Joey Davis has hit that bump. He's managed to get the McLaren sideways, but just about managed to recover it, but not enough to avoid clouting into Nigel Mansell. And I'm afraid to say that Joey Davis, a little bit of impatience there, I fear. He should have just held his line and maybe tried to pass Nigel Mansell into the harbour front chicane, as he did with this man, Michael Andretti, a couple of times already.
It's a fantastic development, but Joey Davis is still able to keep going now, and he's 23 seconds behind his teammate Alain Prost, who is just circulating quite serenely in the McLaren Honda number 27, and he absolutely looks as though he's got this race bought and paid for, with Andretti still in 3rd place, and Derek Warwick been keeping his nose clean. He's very much going to be hoping that he's got his fingers, his legs crossed, everything on his torso crossed. Well, perhaps not everything, because that might be quite painful, but he's going to be certainly hoping that he's got some lady luck with him today as we ride on board yet again with Joey Davis as Andretti comes into the pits for his final stop, with Nakajima in 5th place. Patresi's in 6th with Modena 7. It's Capelli 8, Gugelmin in 9th, and Martin Donnelly in 10th place.
It's fantastic racing here today as Joey Davis comes down towards the Lowe's hairpin. Can he close the gap on Alain Prost with 28 laps to go? I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to do that. He may be able to close the gap a few seconds, but I'm pretty sure that Alain Prost has got this race already well under control, and he's certainly just going to be trying to make sure that he can see the car through. He's going to be taking it very easy on the tyres, easy on the gearbox, on the throttle application. He's not a 4-time world champion for nothing.
Absolutely not. He's not at all. Notice the professor, and my goodness, he's experiencing that today. He's 22.9 seconds ahead of Davis, who's still trying to battle with Michael Andretti. But Andretti, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to close the gap to Joey Davis, who we understand may well be stopping once more. But it's going to be interesting to see if Nakajima can get another decent points finish for the Tyrrell team, with Riccardo Patrese in 6th place for the Joes team, who have already scored at 1 point in San Marino, and they will certainly be hoping that they can get another haul of points today at Monte Carlo, because it's going to be fantastic for them. And there's Davis passing Patrese as I say that in the tunnel. Davis is through, and he's down into the harbour front chicane, and he's just got to try and pass Maurizio Gugelmin, that is, and he's now closed the gap to 21 seconds, and Prost is into the pits. And I'm pretty sure that Alain Prost, he's going to come out behind Joey Davis. We weren't expecting Prost to stop again, and maybe Alain Prost, we're hearing Prost had a little bit of a slight wheel problem. It could have been a wheel balance, but nevertheless, I think he's going to come out behind Joey Davis. As they come across the line, he's behind Davis, look at that. Joey Davis has got a 1.4 second lead, and is Davis going to be able to keep it to the end? It's going to be interesting to see if he can keep his French teammate behind him, with Andretti 36 seconds behind, and Warwick still in 4th, with Patrese in 5th, and Stefano Modena is out, we can see on the timing screen. But as they go down the hill towards Mirabeau, it's Davis ahead of Prost, as Andretti comes around the Rascasse for the 55th time, and Andretti is still trying to nurse the car. We understand he's got a gearbox issue. No, it's a transmission problem that we're understanding. There's a slight linkage problem with the gearbox, the semi-automatic gearbox in the Ferrari. And we're certainly going to be hoping that he's not going to get another retirement, because there was heartbreak for him in San Marino the last time out, when he was actually leading the race and spun off. Whilst he was leading the race, he recovered into 3rd place, and then the car just retired. But Davis has now got Prost right behind him. Look at this. Prost is less than 0.3 of a second behind his teammate, and Davis just loses it at Saint-Devant, and he's hit the left rear suspension. Surely he's damaged the McLaren as they come up to the Massenet. They were side by side, but Davis just takes the inside line. Prost follows him through Casino Square, and out of it, Davis gets massively sideways. He's definitely got some sort of a problem. Prost goes through into the lead, and I'm pretty sure that now Davis is going to have to come into the pits yet again, and this will be the 4th stop for the Englishman. No, it's going to be the 3rd. I do apologise. It's going to be the 3rd time he's going to be pitting today.
Fantastic developments. Prost 3.1 seconds in the lead as we watch Andrea De Cesaris in the glorious Jordan 190, and Davis comes into the pits for the final time, surely.
The brakes come on. They put the brakes on. Another wipe of the visor from the chief mechanic. The McLaren boys are very good at getting the car serviced, and Davis is down. He's out in 7.7 seconds. That is a superlative stop from the McLaren boys, as Derek Warwick comes through the Massenet, through Casino Square, and he's going to be going down the hill towards the Mirabeau. Derek Warwick has driven absolutely superbly, with his younger brother Paul confirmed that he's going to be running the Benetton car at Silverstone, which is going to be open for the very first time after its revamp, its re-circuit design from last year. They've made the circuit a lot safer this year. It's got a completely different new layout. As we watch Michael Andretti through to back, and Davis is through the Rascasse there, and he's still pushing, but he's 32.1 seconds behind Prost, who is still going round serenely in the lead, with Andretti in 3rd. It's Warwick 4th, Nakajima 5th, and Riccardo Patrese will be keeping his fingers crossed that his Joes Porsche will be able to see this checkered flag and actually score another point, as Gugelmin has Prost all over the gearbox of the Leighton House into the tobacco for the final time. It's Prost through the left-hander. He's going to come through the swimming pool section for the final time, and Prost is very much on his way to becoming the first driver to win 2 races this year. He's round the Rascasse for the last time. Alain Prost in the McLaren Honda. He's just through the final turn, the right, the left, and he just accelerates up the main straight. And Alain Prost wins the 1991 Monaco Grand Prix. Fantastic drive from the Frenchman, with Joey Davis in 2nd place. He's across the line now, and Joey Davis takes a fine 2nd place and 6 points to give himself a decent haul of points. And Michael Andretti is going to score his first ever podium for Scuderia Ferrari. after an dismal start to the season. Michael Andretti's across the line in third place. Fantastic result for the American. What a performance, but Alain Prost was superlative today. What a drive from the Frenchman. This was an outstanding performance from Prost, who, despite challenges from Mansell and eventual second-place finisher Davis, always seemed the likely winner in a race that saw only 10 cars finish, with Andretti the only other driver not to finish more than a lap down, as the American claimed his first ever podium, as Ferrari managed to get one of their cars to finish a race for only the third time this year. Afterwards, an ecstatic Prost sprayed the champagne and collected the winner's trophy from Prince Regnier, whilst Davis shrugged off his earlier clash with Mansell as he stood alongside the Frenchman on the second step of the podium. But it was Andretti who was without doubt the happiest man up there after taking his maiden podium. Meantime, Mansell was outraged by the driving of Davis and told all that the FIA should ban his British countryman, whilst Davis tried to smother the flames by declaring the incident to be an unintentional clash that merited no further action, whilst at Ferrari, Senna raged after a third retirement in 4 races. His Monaco win giving him 10 points. Prost now leads the driver's standings with Mansell 4 points adrift in second, as Davis climbs to third courtesy of his 6 points haul for second place, and Senna drops to fourth. McLaren are still on top in the Constructors' Championship, now 13 points ahead of Williams, with Ferrari slipping further behind in third, and Tyrrell stayed fourth after Nakajima's 5th place finish. So it's Prost who becomes the first driver to win more than one race, as we prepare to head to North America next and the glorious city of Montreal. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time for round 5 of the 1991 Formula 1 World Championship in Canada.